person has certain rights that we call human rights. And every person has them, no matter if that person is a woman, a man, no matter if that person has a specific sexual orientation, no matter where that person in the world is, no matter who that person is, no matter what he does. This is something each of us recognize, and this is something that the European Union recognizes. And in this debate, Team Slovakia will explain to you why it is the moral duty, firstly, of the European Union to help people who don't have rights in certain countries, to help people, specifically to help sexual minorities, to help people whose rights are being ignored. In my speech, after I explain the model and how we want to do this, I will talk firstly about the moral duty of helping people in general. Why is it our concern that someone's rights are being denied? Secondly, why these rights? Why these people? Why this group of people? Why sexual minorities and why you? The second point will be about specifics. And then the second speaker will bring a third point about how this is actually in the interest of the European Union because of compatible values and compatible perspectives of the world and how that helps countries in the future perhaps to talk about things together. So first of all, ladies and gentlemen, Team Slovakia recognizes a problem, and that problem is that the rights of certain groups of sexual minorities, people who have different sexual orientations, for example, homosexuals or transsexuals, are being deprived of their rights in certain countries, in certain developing countries, and in countries that are strongly religious, either Islamic or Christian countries. And we believe that in these countries, this is something that we want to slowly and steadily improve. Just like in some countries in the past, women's rights were being denied, and now we are slowly improving the situation. In a second, sir, we want to step by step help this situation, and in that way slowly move towards a complete equality of all the people in the world. Yes, sir.
Madam, you cannot talk about improving rights. We deny people the ability to eat, drink, and clothe themselves.
Thank you, sir. We believe, ladies and gentlemen, that there are certain rights in the world in general, and some of these rights are being recognized, and some of these rights are being helped. People that are starving are already being helped, but people who have a different sexual orientation are not being helped, ladies and gentlemen, to the measure that they should be. So what we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is that we believe, as Team Slovakia, that if we show you that we have the ability to at least in part improve this problem and improve the situation and improve the rights of these people in these countries, then we have won this debate. So first of all, why is it a moral duty of the European Union or of anyone in that matter to help someone else? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to a point, humanity has come to a point where we recognize these human rights, and we recognize them for all people, wherever they are. A person cannot choose where he is born, and that one person cannot choose who will sexually attract him. Therefore, because it is not in the free will of these people to choose whether they will or whether they find themselves in the group that is denied their rights, we believe that we should help these people. Just like we have the responsibility to help people on a local level, we see and examine the responsibility of parents to help their children. Slowly we move to the global level. Parents, children, mayor, for example, of a village to help his citizens, the president, the country to help its own people, globally as well. What difference is there if a person is born into a country in the European Union and if a country outside of the European Union, one of these countries where his rights may be taken away? We believe, ladies and gentlemen, that it is a moral duty of those people who have the rights, and a moral duty of those people who are well off and who have the capability, both financial and moral, because they understand the importance of these rights, to come in and to help the people who are suffering in other countries, because that is not something the people chose. In no way were they given the question of whether they want to have a different sexual orientation, first of all, and second of all, whether they want to live in that country where their rights are being denied. Moving on to the second argument about specifics. No, thank you, sir. First of all, why these rights? As I've already said, most other rights are already primary concerns of different countries, not only the European Union, but other developed countries as well. And these rights are the last to come up in certain, for example, Islamic countries. We have already been helping women get better. Now it is time to help different groups whose rights have been ignored over the past years in general. There are many people who have a sexual orientation that they are because no one will look at them in a positive way, and because in many of these countries, they will actually not be allowed to express this different orientation publicly, and in some countries perhaps maybe even killed for it, ladies and gentlemen, because the basic rights, the basic human rights of these people are being denied, are being violated. Secondly, why the European Union? Ladies and gentlemen, the European Union has been built on principles of freedom and principles of equality between people. We recognize these rights and we promote them. We have been promoting them in the past diplomatically in different ways. By, for example, diplomatic relations with countries trying to get human rights of people, again the example of women, again the example of helping others when they are starving, and so on. And it is the European Union who works on this principle that has the duty to do so elsewhere. Yes, ma'am.
These discriminations are often entrenched within societal perceptions. How do you intend to change these societal perceptions, and in the meantime, is it fair that the whole society suffers?
Thank you, sir. I talked about the model very shortly. I talked about how I want to promote this internationally, similarly to how we did it with women. If that is not sufficient, then let's explain how we did it with women, ladies and gentlemen. We said different missions, similar to peace missions, talking about these problems together with other aid. We talked about giving, for example, together with giving other aid to make it as a whole package, because what the European Union gives to some of these recipient countries is a whole package of help. Some of it is, for example, food, some of it is know-how, machines, and together with that, ladies and gentlemen, if it comes from one source, these people will view it as something that comes together, as a positive way, as something that has come slowly, just like freedom for some people has come slowly from the influence of some of the perhaps Western countries, because these countries are those that first were able to recognize these rights, and these rights have been taken in, and people around the world have slowly understood that these rights are important, and we want to do that in these countries as well. So as I've already been explained, the European Union has this unique position, unlike, for example, the United States, that is not viewed as positive in the eyes of African and a lot of Asian people. According to the American book Soft Power, for example, there's only about 30% of the people of these countries that consider the influence of the United States positive, while with the European Union is about 60%, or more than half of the people who actually like and who like how the European Union, in their eyes, is one who encourages peace and stability, and which encourages freedoms. And because of this, ladies and gentlemen, not only because it is a moral duty in general, but also because it is the moral duty of the European Union, because it is in its own principles, we believe that we should certainly help these countries in this way.